Welcome to the Heat Source Quickfire, the mini episode where we taste and discuss one sauce in under 15 minutes. Hopefully. We bring our best facts to the table and let you decide whose is best. Let's heat up. All right, welcome back to the Heat Source, where we are doing a themed episode for the holiday that, when this comes out, will be happening tomorrow.
Yes. Thanksgiving's come early, but it's Thanksgiving right now, according to when this is getting released. So happy Thanksgiving.
I know. I'm going to see if I can get a happy Thanksgiving. I don't know if that was to me or to the audience, but
both. Yeah.
But
it was actually to the microphone, but
the microphone has been there the longest through everything. But the sauces that we have here today all lend themselves to Thanksgiving food. It'll be hard for me to find Thanksgiving themed dishes to pick up that's not a big fast food. Get some turkey and some mashed potatoes.
Really, the only thing that sticks out is like KFC. You can probably find most of your
That's true.
most of your
other than
Thanksgiving needs at KFC.
They don't do turkey though, do they?
No.
You get a bird. You get a fried bird.
Yeah.
Pretty
close.
Can't be picky.
So something that you need to keep in mind, one of the best, and my mom's a phenomenal cook.
Mm-hmm.
My in-laws make really great food. So I've been blessed to have a lot of good Thanksgiving food.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Thanksgiving meals, though, was actually from Applebee's. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
They put on they do a Thanksgiving meal every year on Thanksgiving, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it is, like $15, and it's like you get like turkey, mashed potatoes, the whole works.
Okay.
Everything classic. We're on a wildfire down in Virginia over Thanksgiving, and we just, hey, let's hit Applebee's, and they had that special. It's like they made the meal, and then they took a spray bottle of liquid garlic,
okay,
and just sprayed the whole plate of food.
I'm down with that.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, there's that
very underrated.
There's that pizza place, the gas station pizza place that has like the salted garlic crust on the pizza.
Yeah,
from like the pizza itself. It's gas station pizza. They do make it in a pizza oven. It's not frozen pizzas. They just heat up. But without that crust, I don't know if I would be bragging about that pizza place as much as I do.
Yeah. So
yeah, the garlic, adding garlic sauce, garlic. There's at my grocery store, it has a little canister that they sell just called garlic spread. That's not technically butter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's great.
Oh, is it Tomb?
Maybe. I don't know. They have it by their bakery, and it's just like.
Yeah, it's right next to the hummus and stuff, right?
Maybe. This one was just like on a weird table by itself. Anyway.
Weird tangent.
So we've picked these three sauces because they lend themselves to Thanksgiving, some more obvious than others. They are three sauces that we've reviewed the sauce makers before. They all are relatively hot. They do ramp up, but it is something where we will try to focus our recommendations on more Thanksgiving-y dishes, but if it goes good on something else, it's going to go good on something else. Like, mm-hmm. I'm not going to say you can't. And really, any food is eligible to be a Thanksgiving food.
Hang on.
Okay, never mind.
Maybe this is just me venting. So my in-laws...
Are you a traditionalist here?
I like my traditions,
or did they go too far outside the box?
So I think they just got their categories wrong. So it's a sweet potato dish.
Okay.
And they cover it in marshmallows and brown sugar.
Which is traditional.
And then they bake it till it gets all crispy, gooey. Yeah. They don't call it dessert, though.
Okay. I mean,
they're like, all right, let's eat the main meal. That's part of it. They glob it all over their turkey and mashed potatoes. And then they're like, now let's bring out dessert.
Pretty sure because we don't do that dish anymore. My dad's side, we used to have that dish pretty regularly.
I'm not against the dish.
It definitely was out during the main food.
Really?
Yeah.
See, my family never did that. For me, I'm like, if you called it dessert, I'd be like, this is great. But since you're calling it like a main dish, like not dessert, I'm like, no.
I mean, so here's the thing. At least for my family, if it was on the dessert table, it would not get touched. If it's on the main dish area, it's like, hey, something sweet to go with like everything else. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of sweet otherwise. But like, I get what you're saying. I don't disagree. Yeah. It's something where it is a dessert. I mean, it's literally a crustless pumpkin pie.
Like that's how I think of it. It's just like, let's take something really sugary, cover it in sugar, and then put more sugar on it, and then we'll bake it.
Do they do candied pecans, or they do anything like that on top?
Maybe crushed. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Sounds good. It sounds like a lot of sugar. But
it's a lot.
Okay, so that was going to lead me to, before we get into the sauces, one very standard Thanksgiving question I have going the opposite of that. What is, if you were like, hey, I had to quick run in and grab one thing from the Thanksgiving table that I normally have, whether it be at family or at home or whatever, what's the one Thanksgiving dish that would eat a whole plate of? And if you say turkey, I will turn off this episode, because that's the most
get
boring.
Ready to turn it off. No.
Unless you're telling me that
my family does wild turkey every year.
Okay.
So wild turkey is much better than store-bought turkey. Like, store-bought turkey is watery.
Yeah.
It's very watered down.
Mm-hmm.
Wild turkey is very flavorful. But since you don't want me to say that.
I mean, that is a good answer, like a wild turkey, and talking about the difference between that. Like, I was just thinking, like, I'm thinking generic turkey of like traditional. They got it in a bag. They're basting it with the little thermometer popping out.
Cajun rub, deep fry it in peanut oil. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty good.
I would say my mom makes a really good spicy sausage stuffing. Like, it's a spicy really stuffing. Yeah. I could knock out a whole plate of that.
That sounds really good.
So I'd probably grab that and run.
So my dad normally makes kielbasa and sauerkraut, but that's a separate thing. And that's like just, we throw that on every holiday. So it's not special to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
One holiday dish that my mom makes almost all the time, which when I first say it, people are just like, oh, that sounds very like a bad choice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She makes a German potato salad, which is a warm potato salad. It's not a mayo-based potato salad. It's a potato salad that's basically cooked in bacon fat with pieces of bacon, red onion, a very vinegary bacon fat sauce.
Dude, that sounds good.
It's really good. It is something, it'll coat your throat when you're eating it, because there's just so much. It's not good for you.
It's just fatty.
But it is.
That's awesome.
And also, because it's got that vinegar to it, it's, depending on how much she makes, I might bring some into the office. But it is something that the kielbasa and sauerkraut is definitely a strong smell in the kitchen. Yep. When you walk in. That vinegar from that, because it's like a white vinegar, there's no fluff, no red wine, harsh. No. Yeah. It's just
that is direct. Straight out of a Polish person's cookbook from the Great Depression.
It's super
That's
traditional.
That's all we had on hand.
It's one that white vinegar. Every kid, I think Ren liked it last time, but I don't know if she realizes what she was having. But like every kid as they get older, like, nope, hate it. And then around like 12 or 13, now my niece is like, yes.
As you become an adult, and you're like, okay, like I understand flavor now.
Yeah. So that was just my starter question for the Thanksgiving. And I've got a couple other facts or questions of Thanksgiving that are not part of the fact off.
Yeah. So my fact off facts, and I feel bad, they have nothing to do with Thanksgiving.
That's fine. That's
but I figured we would spew things back and forth in between. So
yeah, and I have some that are a little more. Actually, I have one fact that's more Halloween than Thanksgiving, but it's pumpkin based. What are you going to do? Pumpkin covers Halloween and Thanksgiving, and you do not put a pumpkin in a Christmas setting. Yeah, it's like, unless it's white, it's like a white pumpkin. It just happens to be like blended into the background because you didn't know what to do with it. All right, so we're going to try our first sauce. It is the Golden Pumpkin by Craic Sauce. Now this one, obviously, it's got the pumpkin, apple cider vinegar, onion, pineapple juice, lemon juice, habanero, garlic, ghost pepper, carrot, water, ginger, honey, sea salt, brown sugar. A lot of flavors going on here. Yeah. It is a very, I don't know what color we would, it's like an orange.
It's like a mustardy yellow.
Yeah, orangish yellow.
I'd say like a Dijon yellow.
Yeah. But it definitely, I mean, this is the low one and it's the ghost pepper one. So like, I didn't space out the heat on these. I just focused on the elements that I thought were.
If we're going to do Thanksgiving, we got to do Thanksgiving.
Well, and
it's not the cool source; it's the heat source.
I don't. Nice. Now, nice. I guess you already have. You said you Cajun rubbed the wild turkey, which sounds like a euphemism. But my family doesn't do a whole lot of heat in the dishes that we do. So like, instead of going like mild sauce, it's like why not do something that's like, hey, these are the heat that you can add to it, instead of like, well, this one has a little bit of heat to it or whatever. So I'm gonna open this real quick.
Whoa, that was a good one.
I got goosebumps.
Especially since it's going straight into your ear canal.
Yeah, these
I
headphones,
had that from 3 feet away, and that sounded beautiful.
I feel like if we ever got another microphone and then where you threw on headphones for some reason, or we were like interviewing someone, I feel like you would just be like, it's too loud. It's too intense.
Yeah.
Especially that you have been like holding the headphones off of your ears a little bit. But
so that Cajun rub, we actually use, it's King Cooker. You ever use King Cooker?
Ooh, I don't use King Cooker.
That smells hot.
It smells pretty hot.
I'm getting some sweet hints out of it, but it smells hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Can you smell hot? Like, what are you smelling when you smell hot? Because you can't.
It's a great question because I feel like if I can, I'm doing it.
You know what I mean, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I'm getting some heat out of that. Anyways.
I smell the pumpkin. I don't know if it's like something sweet as well.
I feel like I smell brown sugar.
Which is the last ingredient, but
like molasses, but anyways.
It does remind me of the pumpkin Hell's Harvest decimation hot sauce that we had, which was our other pumpkin-based one. It does remind me of that, so I think that's the pumpkin, and I think he also used ghost pepper too. So,
I was an adult onset pumpkin pie eater.
Like you didn't start doing it until you were...
Yeah.
Okay.
I liked pecan pie. We would always have...
I never had pecan pie. Never had it until I was older.
And then once you realize that it's literally just sugar.
I thought it was just like...
I didn't know what it was.
I thought it was pecans rolled in like... Almost like you did like a sugar-coated roasted pecans and then dumped them into a pie dish and then baked it where it's just like all nuts. And I'm like, wait, that's just the top layer? And then there's like a gelatiny... I don't know, corn syrup. I don't know what it is, but it's just like sugar.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's good. But no, I didn't start until my wife's family. I started eating with them. But, dude, you were the heavy pour, man. How are you not spilling that? I would have half gallon on the table.
I don't know how, but it has a very nice...
She's standing tall.
Nice thickness to it. Yeah. It's one of those where this one is definitely holding its peaks like a whipped topping. Oh, I got a drip coming down here.
All right.
It has like an applesauce consistency almost.
Yeah. It's hot.
Yeah, we started out pretty strong.
Yeah. Maybe it's the first thing I put in my mouth this morning, but that's hot.
I was talking to Steve from Mammoth, and he was asking about when we record. I'm like, yeah, for better or worse, we record pretty early. So, that's how you start out your day.
I like that.
I taste the brown sugar.
Yeah. It's hot, it's savory, but there's a sweetness going on in the background that I really like. It's kind of going away. It doesn't last long.
I think it's a 2. It's like a high 2.
It's like a 2+.
Because I'm not really reacting to it.
No. Maybe it just caught me off guard. I don't know.
It is an intense...
It hits you right away.
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a good... The good thing is that we haven't had a pumpkin hot sauce in a while, so it's definitely standing out on its own.
Now that I smell it again, I do get pumpkin out of that. Smell that.
Yeah. Maybe it's just once you have it in your mouth, so then it's like in the back of your throat and going into your nasal cavities, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Flourishing with pumpkin. That sounds fancy.
So I almost tore my wife's family apart. They hate me. They don't like me. Because when I eat a pie, like why would I eat the crust when there's no flavor on it? So like the outer rim.
Okay.
Where there's no goodies on it, and it's usually maybe a little bit.
Do you eat the crust of a pizza?
If it's flavored crust. But my wife, normally, I will be eating the good part, and then a hand will come out of nowhere, grab the crust out of my hand, because she just loves the crust. And we like the opposite parts of the pizza, so it works out really good. I don't not like the crust. I just like flavor. I like cheese and sauce more than just dry crust. Okay. So I started cutting just a pie-shaped piece out of the center of the pie, because I'm really, really efficient.
Yeah.
And I don't want just the crusty rim with no flavor on it.
Sounds like you're just a fan of chaos is what you're a fan of.
Dude, I've never seen a family argue like that, not over politics.
So
they were so mad at me. I'm like, okay, you're just mad because I'm smarter than you. I get more flavor.
So here's the problem I have, is that a slice of pie is much like a slice of pizza. If you were to cut a triangle in the middle of a pizza pie, that would upset a lot of people. Now, the caveat to that is a pan of brownies. a pan of brownies are cut into squares. But a pan of brownies, there are people that like edges and people that like centers.
I love brownie edges, though.
Interesting. Angela loves edges, and when my kids said that they like center, she looked at them like they were not her own. She got over it. But also I then was silent because I like the center. But my mom makes like very chocolatey, gooey.
Yeah.
The edges are still good. I like both, but it works out because I'm like, you don't understand. You get all the edges. Me and the kids have to fight over the center.
Right.
It's a win-win. And I did at one office meal, I think it was last year, I did kind of a center of the brownie. So I'm not on like any high ground here. But
Sure.
The traditional slice of pie, if you don't want to eat the crust, it's fine. But like you take that section.
They're hypocrites.
Are you leaving the crust for someone else to enjoy?
Yes, they're hypocrites. They love the crust so much that they want me to eat it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to bypass the crust. I'm going to take the center where the goodies are. And then you can have the crust you love so much. You're welcome.
Much like a piece of pizza, I leave a little bit of filling with crust of pie and with crust of pizza. So my bite of each crust has a little bit of the pizza or the pie.
Right.
So if you say, hey, I cut out this, here's the crust, you're taking half of...
So at Thanksgiving, though, you were trying to maximize how much food you can put in your system.
Well, I mean, it's strategic. Yeah.
Why would I lose a couple ounces on dry crust that just doesn't really taste like much when I can just go for the center where the goodies are?
I can't let you speak this type of heresy in front of my kids because I'm already dealing with like crusts of bread and crusts of pizza. I can't have them saying, hey, I don't want all of my pie because I end up eating all the leftovers.
That's funny.
So the heat did dissipate. I mean, it lingers. My mouth was salivating a bit, but it did dissipate. It does have a nice aftertaste is just that pumpkin, that sweetness.
Yeah. I really enjoy the aftertaste. Like the initial flavor is good, but it's just heat. Mm-hmm. And then the aftertaste. The aftertaste is very pumpkin-y.
Yeah.
I like the vinegar in there too.
But it does.
That tastes like Thanksgiving. What are you putting that on? At Thanksgiving meal, what are you putting that on?
Let's see.
I know what I'm going with that.
I'm going through everything that I'm eating at Thanksgiving. I should have made a list of everything I eat because I always forget. I mean, I would kind of put it on some of like my mashed potatoes.
Anything goes on mashed potatoes, though.
I know.
So I'm putting that on my proteins. I'm putting that on turkey, and I'm putting that on kielbasa. I feel like that's going to be a killer kielbasa sauce.
Man, kielbasa would be an interesting one. I think
it's the vinegar in there. The heat and the vinegar. The heat, obviously, you put horseradish on kielbasa, but the heat with the vinegar and that little bit of sweetness, I think, would go phenomenal on kielbasa.
I would be down for that. Yeah.
I'm also thinking like turkey tends to go well with sweet things too.
Now, what if you were to spice up your pumpkin pie? It's already pumpkin. It's already kind of sweet.
You could do that.
Or even...
Oh, you know what? Do you have squash at Thanksgiving?
Sometimes, not always.
We usually have some squash. That would go good on like acorn squash. Or butternut.
Like a nice fall like vegetable medley?
Yes. Not a marshmallow-topped squash. But
you don't want to put this on top of your sweet potato marshmallow?
No.
At least it adds heat.
No.
It is also sweet, though. So that would be a tough one. All right. I'm going to bring up my fact for this one.
All right.
Which this is the fact that is fall, but not Thanksgiving. It kind of went Halloween, but it is a pumpkin fact.
Okay.
Did you know that jack-o'-lanterns were not originally carved out of pumpkins?
I didn't know that. I'm trying to think of what they would be carved out of.
So, to give you a little bit more of a clue so you can kind of try to put it together, it didn't change into pumpkins until the Irish immigrants came over to America where pumpkins were more plentiful and more readily available. So it would have been before the Irish immigrants came here from Ireland.
I feel like you're going to hit me with some very, like, brutal, archaic, like they used to carve into people's chests. And then the Irish were just like, oh, just do it in the pumpkin.
We're gonna keep it light. We're gonna keep it light on the Thanksgiving episode.
Okay, sorry.
It was not. It was another food.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they carved into their skulls. It's like, oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go with apples.
Nope, potatoes, but mostly turnips.
Really?
If you look up a carved turnip,
Really?
it is kind of
some of them
monster.
get pretty big.
Well, it's terrifying. Like, jack-o'-lanterns, like, yeah, they're supposed to be scary, but, like, they look pretty harmless.
Huh.
But a carved-up turnip, it looks like, what was it? My son was having me look up how to draw a cookie cutter shark. Have you ever seen one of those?
Yes.
How terrifying their face is?
Yeah.
That's what a carved turnip looks like.
Really?
Yeah, it's just, like, at least the ones that I saw examples of, where
That's
I'm like...
a photo without context.
I don't know if it's a cookie cutter shark or a carved turnip, but either way. But yeah, the cookie cutter shark is terrifying. Like, there's some of them are like, oh, it just looks like a normal shark. But I'm like...
I like that one. I wouldn't have thought of that. So mine is going down the pop culture rabbit hole, which I don't really do pop culture. But I'm a big Amy Adams fan.
Okay.
Just digging the red. So Amy Adams played in a movie called Leap Year.
Yep.
You see that movie?
I did not see that one.
Rom-com. One of my favorite movies ever. She follows her boyfriend to Ireland. It's an Irish tradition to go propose to your husband.
Do you like it mostly because of Amy Adams or because you think it's an actually good movie?
She helps, but I think
she's a very good personality to throw into a rom-com. Like, that's also why, like, Enchanted, that Disney movie, that's why that did so well. That character could have been so annoying. But she is, like, the right type of upbeat.
Yeah. I don't know how I'd feel about it, but the Irish, the red hair, it all works together.
Yeah.
So she played in that. So we're going the Amy Adams route. She also played in Julie and Julia. Did you ever see that movie?
That one I did, but it's been a while.
So she goes through the Julia Childs, the joy of cooking, cooks everything. In real life, Julia Childs hated it and did not like the fact that she was doing that.
The movie?
No, in real life.
Oh, the real person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, Julia Childs was mad at her for that, offended. You think it'd be some sort of flattery, like
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah. Julia Childs was not about it. She didn't like it. Which I thought she'd be flattered, but she was like...
It's like Albert Einstein not liking beets. Some people just have the wrong idea about stuff.
I can't imagine why she wouldn't.
It's weird that fact is the one thing that stuck with me through episodes. We mentioned that 2 different times on episodes.
Is this 3 now, or is this?
This is the 3rd.
Okay.
I found another fact that I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna throw it as a general fact for Thanksgiving. Apparently, Thomas Jefferson thought Thanksgiving being a federal holiday is dumb, like a waste. That's not one of your facts, is it?
No.
I'd be like, well, let me get back to my phone.
Shut the mic off now. I guess we're over.
But Amy Adams. She was in. Do you remember the movie Catch Me If You Can with Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio?
I never saw it.
No, she's in that. But if you had seen that movie a while back,
movies,
it's like one scene. But
really?
It's one of those where she's in it for one scene. There's a couple actors that are in there where you'll watch the movie 5 years later and go, I totally forgot Jennifer Garner was in there.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you know that Amy Adams was in Talladega Nights?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the assistant.
Yeah, she's great in that.
Susan, I swear, you were the weirdest little girl.
I saw a couple different movies of hers. I saw Sunshine Cleaning. Was it Sunshine Cleaning? With her and Emily Blunt. That's one of those where it comes across as a quirky, fun idea. Where it's 2 sisters just randomly start up a cleaning.
Apparently they're super good friends in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Amy Adams, interesting, because Amy Adams played the girlfriend of John Krasinski in The Office.
In The Office, yes.
And then now Emily Blunt is married to John Krasinski.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know why that's so interesting to me. I love The Office, though.
I put that together last night. I thought about that, and I'm like, no, that's going maybe a little too far down the rabbit hole.
No.
Mixing characters in real life, and then that's the first thing that you think of is,
That is during The Office, and after this we'll get to the scores, but that is in The Office, the one girlfriend where I'm like, what was wrong with her, Jim? I know she's not Pam, but she seemed very nice. She seemed very much into Jim and hanging out with his friends and all that. Is it because she got along too well with Roy? Is that it? That's for our Office podcast. That's not for this one.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a good sauce. That one's going on my proteins. For sure.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I think that you're right. Proteins, if you had one of those pork rolls that has a lot of the fall flavors rolled into it.
Yep.
The kids are brewing.
Yeah.
So for my score on that, I had this as an 81.
I had 72.
Okay.
Oh.
And then 2+ on heat. So again,
2+.
0 is no heat. 1 is there's a presence. 2 is a lingering heat, which it does. This one packs a punch initially, but then it does fade decently. 3 is like reacting, like, eyes watering, nose running, like really salivating. 4 is good pain. 5 is bad pain. And then, of course, for a 100-point scale, and I won't do this for every sauce we do, but above 75 is something we would have in our kitchen year round. Above 50 is recommend to buy. 25 to 50 is something that you don't have to, go out and seek. I always reference Frank's, but then Mike says that is one that he would recommend to buy.
Yeah, that's 100.
If someone's never had it, it's kind of weird. Unless they just never have ventured into heat.
It's like, hey, I'm going to give you this vinegar with cayenne that's way too old.
Yeah.
Like,
this has been left out for years. I feel like
it's an acquired taste, yeah.
And then below 25, not for us, maybe for you.
Man, the more I eat that sauce, the more I like it. I like that a lot.
It is really good. It is less intense than decimation. I only know this because I had decimation, some of it just this week, and it does have more pain to it.
Yeah.
This is more tolerable, which does mean you can put it on more, like you can slather it on that like pork roll.
Right.
All right. I'm going to bring you into another. Do you want a Thanksgiving question or Thanksgiving fact to break it up?
Your call.
We're going to switch it because the other question is more kind of about dishes. So, did you know, and this is again not my fact for a sauce, in 1953, Swanson's overestimated the number of frozen turkeys that they would sell on Thanksgiving by 26 tons.
26 tons of
26
turkey?
Tons of frozen turkeys.
So, were you averaging a 15-pound bird?
I don't know.
I'm just trying to do the math on how many
I'm not
turkeys
sure,
that
but
is. Sorry, continue.
Do you want to know what the company decided to do with that overabundance of frozen turkeys?
Hopefully donate it.
They were business.
Okay.
So no, the company decided to slice up the extra meat and repackage it, creating the first ever TV dinner.
Really?
So the first ever TV dinner by Swanson was an overestimation of how much turkey they were going to sell at Thanksgiving.
That's a really good idea. No, there's still a business.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, I'm like, that does sound nice. That does sound wonderful if it's like...
Well, I didn't know if it was like, hey, these things are thawing, we got to do something with them.
Yeah, I think because they were frozen, they could make a business move.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it was like, they're going to go bad in 2 days, we have to like...
So that was their first TV dinner, or that was the original TV dinner?
Swanson, I think, is the original. I feel like...
That's awesome.
But also, I feel like it says it's creating the first ever TV dinner, so I think it's the first ever TV dinner at all, because otherwise it's like, it wouldn't be as newsworthy of like, hey... What should we do? We'll just do what they've been doing for a while. I know Swanson is a long-standing company. I know Birdseye invented like the flash freezing process for frozen vegetables, because that's something that when I worked at Schwann's for a short period of time, which I will not speak ill of a job that I did, so we'll move on. But that was something they hammered in their heads, like the technology was from Birdseye, which still has frozen food in grocery stores today.
Right.
So yeah.
That's fun. I did not know that. That's cool.
That's
like that reminds me of an episode of the second greatest podcast after this one, The Way I Heard It with Mike Rowe. Ever listen to that?
I have not.
He does like 10 to 15 minute shorts of, he'll tell this crazy story, and usually like the last sentence of the story, he'll name the brand.
Okay.
So it's like, you go through this whole thing, you're like, man, that sounds so far-fetched. And he's like, and that's how Silly Putty was born.
So there's like the twist, the reveal of just like...
Yeah. And the whole time you're like, no kidding. So that sounds like it'd be a good episode for that.
Yeah, that would be a good one. That would be interesting to just be like, and that's frozen TV dinners. But also it's like, hey, we have an overabundance of frozen turkeys. Let's get a bunch of gravy and freeze it now.
Yeah. 26 tons.
I saw a little like TikTok video of someone took an ice cube tray and they were putting elements of Thanksgiving dinner and then pouring gravy and freezing it into ice cubes. And they're like, these are little frozen, dinner cubes. And I'm like, I don't know what the point of that is. And they didn't show how to use it, like what they would use it for. And I'm like, it's not going in my drink. I don't think I want one little thing of like 2 pieces of stuffing, a little bit of turkey and green bean,
right,
and gravy.
Dip it in something cold.
It's like, oh.
Or eat it cold. Yeah.
I don't know
about that one. I saw one of someone freezing hot dog water and putting it in someone's drink.
Gross.
So I think I'm going to do that to my brother-in-law.
Would it be valuable to freeze pasta water and then use that? Because pasta water is very valuable for like thickening sauces and things like that.
That's actually a good idea.
That one makes more
I
sense.
might do that. We use a lot of pasta water.
Hot
That was a
dog
game
water.
changer when we discovered using pasta water. Like to make sauces really creamy.
Weird question. Did you ever listen to Limp Bizkit's Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water album? Okay, moving on. It's in my head. I have to address it so it gets out. All right, so we're going to do Lucky Dog Hot Sauce's Applewood Smoked Habanero Pepper Sauce. Part of the reason I was looking at this one, besides the fact that we had it on hand, was he uses pears and dates to sweeten it, which lends itself to fall, and he did have a note on the website that this was specifically a sauce that he wanted to pair something with pork carnitas, and it is something that pork is one that he says they don't want to overpower with the sauce because then you're just tasting sauce with like pork is just the serving dish.
Yep.
But you don't want it to just be completely, nothing. So this is one, I think he uses California Bartlett pears, which...
Yep.
Okay. Is that a fact that you have?
That is, has to do with my fact, yes.
Okay. I don't have that as my fact. So, but just to go through the ingredients here, you got the white vinegar, onions, pears, habanero peppers, garlic, carrot juice, serrano chili peppers, dates, carrots, so carrots and carrot juice, ghost pepper infused sea salt, that sounds interesting, applewood smoked sea salt, and lime juice. I think I have applewood smoked sea salt. I think it's a very intense...
It'd be interesting to see. He's got a lot of smoked salts in here.
Yeah. So this is one he listed as hot on his mild, medium, hot scale that he has on the side, which again, the scale is obviously based on consumers. Everyone has their own tolerances. I always like to disclaimer that. Now, he is up against a pretty mean label opening from the last sauce. So
yeah, this might go from a...
I got hung up a little bit there for a second.
Still didn't disappoint.
Still did well.
This went from a...
similar color.
A Happy Thanksgiving special to a seal throwdown.
Yeah. Like, whose is better? Very different. Nice and smoky.
Ooh. That is very smoky. I feel like I'm getting a lot of bacon out of that.
Just that smokiness?
Yeah.
Because there's not bacon in it.
I'm sorry. Like that. I'm thinking Applewood smoked bacon.
Yeah, I am too.
But just, the smokiness you get from bacon is
yes.
exactly what that reminds me of.
I just wanted to make sure that we said that just so Scott's not listening going, you idiots. There's no bacon in this.
All
Although
right, we need a disclaimer. Every episode is done at 6 a.m.
Which we thought was a good idea.
Still waking up.
We're more awake, definitely. And we definitely don't have the weight of the day of work on our shoulders. So.
But no, if you wafted that under a blindfolded person's nose, they'd be like, well, maybe bacon?
Yeah. It is something where the Applewood smoke is a very signature. Yes. I don't, specifically for bacon, like if I can get the Applewood smoked bacon, like the thick cut, I'm going to do that. And usually it's not, depending on what deli or what grocery store you go to, it's not that much more than the bacon you get in the pack, but it's thicker. So even if, I only have one thick slice as compared to two paper thin slices, you're still getting, in my opinion, better flavor, better bacon out of it, and better grease production. Right. That bacon fat is, again, frozen pasta water, jar of bacon fat. We're just collecting all of our all of our elements for cooking. I think my buddy Mark, he lives out in the middle of nowhere, so they don't have a grocery store nearby. I think he, for a while, he maybe still does, has a jar of just bacon fat just for all of his cooking, just any excess, any leftover. So
late fall into winter, I usually have duck fat on hand, and duck fat is phenomenal.
Never cooked with duck fat. Similar texture on this one. It's like an apple sauce.
Pretty similar color too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got that kind of...
Man, that smells good.
It smells really good. I feel like this is going to drop. But the thing that Scott said on the interview with Talking Heat, that he loves using pears, and he loves using that fruit with that pectin to give that thickness, the viscosity of an applesauce.
Yep.
So let's try this. Oh, wow.
Man.
That tastes like Thanksgiving. I know
it
maybe it's just
a meal in itself.
Because we're just in that theme.
It's very smoky.
Very smoky.
Not overpowering, but
I don't hate that. I don't hate to.
So that guy's got his stuff figured out.
I would put this with my kielbasa.
Yeah.
This would be my kielbasa. I would definitely put on pork.
This is going on my stuffing.
Stuffing
the smokiness and the spicy sausage stuffing.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
There's
Dude,
something.
He's a mad scientist. He just makes it work.
It's one of those things where I feel like I could be sitting in the room with him while he's creating and trying and making these sauces and working at it, and like even having me tasting it, and I still would be like, you're seeing in 4 dimensions.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's playing 4D chess.
Yeah. There's something that I'm tasting that's triggering a certain food, and I can't put my finger on it.
I'm putting that on squash, and I'm putting that on stuffing.
I probably would put this with my German potato salad. The smokiness with the bacon that's already in the German potato salad. It has the vinegar that also would enhance the vinegar that's already in the potato salad, but like,
dang.
Oh my gosh.
I like that.
The heat is also kind of a 2, but not as big of a kick in the beginning.
I'd say it's a flat 2.
Yeah. It is kind of in the back of the throat.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's unique.
That is really good. That is, wow.
All right. My fact for this one.
Okay.
So, I saw was it the Bartlett pears?
Yes.
Those are grown in the Coachella Valley of California.
Is that where they have Coachella?
It is.
Okay. I don't know how I knew.
Which is directly adjacent to Joshua Tree National Park, which is one of the coolest places in the country.
Okay.
I've done a decent amount of traveling. Go check out Joshua Tree. Really neat. What I found extremely interesting was, like, you look at it and you wonder, how can anything live here? There's no water. It's your classic desert. It is rock, sand, and the occasional, like, tumbleweed with a Joshua tree and a cactus mixed in. Like, There's not a lot going on there. I was surprised to find out that in Joshua Tree, there are 57 different species of mammals living in that desert.
How big is Joshua Tree?
It's massive.
Okay.
It's huge.
Okay.
But 57 different species of mammals, which was very surprising to me.
Yeah, because, I mean, if it was just like 57 different species in general, where you're talking like insects and like different things that are much smaller, but like mammals don't lend themselves to, I mean, they can be smaller, but like, they're not insect size or microscopic or things.
And it's funny, when we pulled in, I have a picture of a herd of bighorn sheep standing underneath a bighorn sheep crossing sign. So the sheep in Joshua Tree can read.
Cool.
That's a joke.
I'm like, but that's a fun fact.
I thought it was pretty interesting. There's 46 species of reptiles, 250 bird species, and 75 types of butterflies.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. When you look at that desert landscape, you're like, man, not a lot can live out here. And then to find out 57 different species, that's just crazy to me.
I like that.
Yeah. It's funny. We were there in kind of the blooming off season. Mm-hmm. And we were taking photos, and Courtney had this floral dress on, and she had hummingbirds coming up to her, trying to drink out of the flowers on her dress. That's how sparse.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it was just, it's little hummingbirds, not terrifying, but
they have little needles on their face.
Yeah, but it's more of a tickle with a tongue as long as the body.
I guess I just picture them just like right.
Yeah,
right
no, it's
through.
not like Pocahontas with the hummingbird. What's his name? Flick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Flick. Yeah, I think so.
When he, shoots into the raccoon's bullseye tail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it does not work.
That's what I'm picturing.
It was a very gentle lap.
That sounds enjoyable.
Okay.
That sounds fun.
But I just thought it was funny. Like, it was like, oh, it's so cool at first. And then you realize you're wasting that tiny little bird's very few calories he's got left in him to go get more nectar.
Yeah, you better bring actual hummingbird food to just be like, I'm sorry, here you go.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right. So I went pears as well, but I didn't go with location of the pears. Do you know which state has pear as a state fruit?
I feel like I'm going to kick myself when I get this wrong.
I'll give you another context. I mean, this is obvious. It is the number 1 pear producing state in the U.S. That doesn't really help, but at least that's the context of why it's the state fruit's the pear.
I'm going to go California or Oregon.
It's Oregon.
Yes. Aha, I knew it.
That's pretty good. So yeah, Oregon is number 1. Michigan's actually 5th.
Really?
Yeah. Michigan's 5th. And I had to look up, do you know we don't officially have a state fruit? We have one listed, but it's not like officially like this is what was.
Is it the cherry?
It's the tart cherry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not official.
It like they have the list. The official list has nothing.
Yeah.
And then you look in like to Michigan's thing, it's just like, oh, the tart cherry like is recognized as. It's like, is it one that's just been there for the longest where they never made it official? Because this one, just in 2005, is when the pear became the state fruit. And I tried to see if they had one before that. There's nothing listing it. So it was just like, why don't we just get around to finally doing this?
Right.
Also, this sauce won actually several awards. It won most recently the 2021 Good Food Winner Pantry Division. It was a 2020 finalist for the Good Food Awards. And it also won several awards from 2014 to 2016 as well. Not surprising.
Yeah.
This is, again, another great sauce. I just was messaging Scott when we tried the anniversary sauces, Year of the Dog, which also has won a Scovie, first place for the Scovie Awards. But I had messaged him because he reacted to a post I had with that bottle. And I was just like, just so you know, we both love this sauce. It's amazing. I didn't tell him the score. He's got to listen to the episode. But him and Natalie Portman both have to listen to the episode. We don't give away scores. If she messaged us, if she came on the podcast, I would give her the initial scores before the episode.
I would stutter worse than I normally do.
The editing on that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we recorded the episode. She was there. We both were bumbling. We both were stuttering. But she did her responses. Now let's re-record. Just watching the playback. We'll stutter a little bit less.
Like, man, these guys are so cool around her.
Yeah, she's just like,
why does she keep asking? She's like, do you normally salivate this much when you eat hot sauce?
It's like, just keep stuttering, and my stuttering just becomes like Queen Amidala. It's like, why does he keep saying Queen Amidala when he's trying to like right the ship? It's like, just focus. This is one that, the pork, the German potato salad with the bacon, the kielbasa.
Yeah.
I feel like this could go on. Like, I could just smother this on the whole plate.
Yeah.
So.
It'd be good on protein too, but.
We do, I'm trying to think. There's like a few different things we do with like bacon. I don't know. It's just really good. It's just a really good sauce. Yeah. I have my score on this one. If you are doing your math still, I'm going to tell you another Thanksgiving fact.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the song Jingle Bells?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know it was originally written as a Thanksgiving song?
Really?
It was originally called The One Horse Open Sleigh. It was a song originally written about Thanksgiving. It was written in a town that did sleigh, like they had like one horse sleighs throughout town, and it was a Thanksgiving traditional time of year where they would have sleighs going around to different events. Yeah. So the One Horse Open Sleigh was a Thanksgiving song. They changed it to Jingle Bells and focused on the bells, but the bells are just attached to a sleigh, which is just not a Christmas thing. It's just it's just a sleigh thing. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So this is, I didn't have this written down, but since we're talking about sleighs, what normally pulls a sleigh in the wintertime?
Dogs.
Reindeers.
Oh.
So.
I weirdly immediately went to the movie Iron Will, where it was just the
You could have said
sled.
horses, you could have said reindeer.
I went with like the dog sled, the race. I don't know.
No, I totally understand that. But the original Thanksgiving, scientists are pretty sure that turkey was not present at the original Thanksgiving, and the main source of protein was venison, whitetail.
Which they should go back to.
What? So last couple of years, my brother's been smoking a venison hindquarter.
Mm.
Dude, it's good.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
I'm all for. So within reason, I'm all for kind of like pushing the boundaries of Thanksgiving dinner. Now, if someone just shows up with a 10-pack of Taco Bell, yes, I will eat it. But I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of that. But like, if there's weird fusion of Thanksgiving dishes with other things, if there's, you want to throw something else with marshmallows and pecans all over it. Just kidding. It's like, I don't, where's the green bean casserole? Like, it's under there. Oh, that just made me sick. But yeah, like we did for the Super Bowl, it was like back in like 2000, might have been 2000. It was like early 2000. It was the Giants versus the Baltimore Ravens. Ray Lewis versus Kerry Collins as the quarterback for the Giants. That's all I remember of the players. Mm-hmm. But it was at my friend Mark's house, and his family, they did everyone bring a dish, but it has to have wild game. It cannot have traditional meat in it. And it was just a really cool, it was, game night. Get it? But it was really cool. And it was like, it is interesting to do. Like, I've never done like a Cornish game hen, or I've never done like any of those other like game animals that are actually somewhat, I mean, the Cornish game hen specifically is a very holiday one.
It's
Duck
like
is another.
Chicken. Yeah.
Duck is another one that's very holiday-esque. All right. What is your score on this one?
88.
89.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Don't look at him.
I know. Well, I can't read upside down, and you're always doing the math right before. And so it's like, I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to copy you because I can't do math upside down, let alone.
Are you telling me you have a hard time reading the number 88 upside down?
Well, once you wrote it, but I already written my score.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 88 upside down.
Can't do it.
How can you do it?
Makes the dyslexia kick in.
Yeah. Same thing with like 0. This is impossible.
Ones I have a hard time with.
No, this is a fantastic sauce. This is definitely really one. I mean, Thanksgiving for sure. This would be.
It's got a very tame smokiness to it.
Yeah, like there's a lot of smoke to it, but
it's controlled.
So I talked about the smoked sea salt that my dad gave me, and the reason he gave it to me, he's like, it was so intense. He's like, I can barely use a pinch of it, and it just overpowers everything I do.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting where he's using the applewood smoked sea salt, where it definitely is there.
Yep.
You don't want to use it and not taste it, but it's something where you're not getting smoked out.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty interesting. All right. I'm switching gears. We're going to switch gears to the Mammoth Sauce Company Red Reaper, which is as my kids are getting all amped up, hot sauce made with Carolina Reaper, pomegranate, and cranberries. Also, it has Fresno chilies, habaneros, apple cider vinegar, garlic. It's going to have a punch. This is a seasonal sauce that I talked to Steve at Mammoth, and he said they had it as a seasonal sauce last year. It is something that they plan to bring back, hopefully for a longer term, but it was something where they originally grew their Reapers, and because of the progression of the brand and the company, they are now working with local farmers to get the Carolina Reaper pepper.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is the tough thing. I know, I think it was Sam Hastings from Sam Sauce, how his Reaper-based sauces, he has to grow them. He grows them in his garden, so it's like, it's all time restraint. When Roddy first came out with his La Muerte, he had the recipe, but he needed to grow more peppers. So It is something where having a local farmer that does grow that does help. This is much more of a red, menacing red flavor scent to it. It does look like a little more runnier consistency. One thing for the in-between sauces, this is a Thanksgiving question. What is the most unorthodox Thanksgiving dish that you like? I don't know if it's that one that you've been to or one that you've seen.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That's why I wrote it down. I tried to go positive. I was going to be like, what's the thing you hate the most at Thanksgiving? But I already
brought that up, yeah.
The sweet potatoes and the...
I don't hate it. Just don't call it a main course. Call it dessert, and I'll probably like it more. But unorthodox. I don't know. That thing's pretty unorthodox.
The thing that I don't necessarily hate, but the thing I just ignore is most vegetables. Why are you there? Why are you even there? And honestly, unless I'm sopping up a plate, I really don't grab the dinner roll, like any type of bread.
Yeah.
Unless it's like cleaning the plate after.
Yep.
Because it's just added filler.
My mom makes a fruit salad, which is pretty weird, but I like it.
It's not something you normally see at like that traditional Thanksgiving spread. Yeah. I can see that. I think we talked last year when I was making the Thanksgiving bracket at work of like all the dishes. Mm-hmm. You were surprised with mac and cheese on there. I think that was what you said is. But I know we do it for Angela's family. We do. And also her family, it's more Italian Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. But that's just their family. But the one, I think, and I mentioned this before, the one I think is the most odd for everything else is traditional Thanksgiving at my house. And then you have kielbasa and sauerkraut. Yeah. While it fits with our Polish family always having Polish food, right? It is definitely, it goes with the mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm. It's just, you just put that right on top of the mashed potatoes. Yeah. But it is the most odd addition that we have. Yeah. That'll be probably the question I'll put for this episode is like, what's the most unusual thing that you either make or have at your Thanksgiving or ones you've had in the past.
Right.
There's no perforation on the seal. We had a good run.
No contest.
Yeah.
But no, I would say that fruit salad, it's like grapes.
So you're talking like just legit like just fruit in a bowl mixed together.
It's fruit in a bowl, but it's just straight sour cream tossed in with that. So it's like a creamy fruit salad, but it sounds gross, straight sour cream, but with all the other really sweet things in there, it totally works out.
My family, not so much for Thanksgiving, but for other meals, we used to always do a Jell-O salad.
Oh yeah.
Which isn't Jell-O. It's not actual like formed Jell-O.
Yeah.
It is Cool Whip, a thing of cottage cheese, a packet of the Jell-O stuff flavoring that's mixed into there, and then depending on what flavor you do, depends on like usually they do an orange. Yeah. They throw mandarin oranges in there. It's the most bizarre thing. It's weirdly good.
Yeah.
But we don't always do it for Thanksgiving. We haven't done it as much lately. But
like it's funny, like anything in a Jell-O mold, I'm usually kind of had a good crinkle to it.
We weren't going to enjoy that one. That one was just me assaulting
just muscling through that one.
I do appreciate though that he sealed the Reaper sauce very tightly. It's like no perforation.
Right.
It's too much of a
safety thing at this point.
It's a weak link in the chain. the demon will get out. But yeah, the other thing with that Jell-O salad, or the Jell-O salad, as much as I loved it growing up and I always had it on my plate, I don't know if that's like nice or like oh no.
Oh, it's nice. Tell me what do you smell when you smell that? I know what I smell.
I'm trying to think what I smell that's in this.
It smells like cheese. It smells like cheddar cheese.
I see.
I already know what that's going on. That's going on cheesy potatoes.
It's going on my mac and cheese.
I still don't know if that's a Thanksgiving dish, but okay.
I mean, it is cheating, but you could throw this on, like if you made cranberries, you could spice up your cranberries. I've seen a few people on like the hot sauce Facebook groups make their like Reaper cranberries.
Yeah.
That they've already made and now they're just like melding flavors. And I'm like, it's a
good idea.
That's like, unless you give someone a heads up, that
smells really good.
An assault.
Do you get is it just me or are you getting
No, I'm trying to think of what
cheddar out of there.
I'm trying to think of what that is, the type of cheese, because I see what you're saying.
I think like a sharp cheddar. Let me smell it again. You're going to suck all the flavor out of that.
Yeah, I know.
I've smelled that a million times.
It's a good smell.
Yeah. No, I like it.
I don't know if it's just like the fruit. Okay, I'll stop smelling it. Sorry.
It's drying out over there.
It's like, wow, like no scent coming off the spoon. It is a much runnier pour. Like, just give me a heads up.
Does it matter? Even when I do know that, I still spill it.
I just, we don't want the tablecloth to get a burn. It is a very smooth pour. It is a nice, beautiful color. It's got some...
All right, ready?
Yeah, let's go.
It's just a good classic hot sauce.
I mean, I taste sweetness. It doesn't really, like, hit you with, like, the pomegranate.
Mm-hmm.
Pomegranate, I don't know if that's one that's, for me, is distinct enough to stand out against the likes of the pepper and the... I'm getting the garlic on the back end.
I like that. That has got cheese and potato written all over it.
Yeah. I mean...
That's going mixed in with the gravy on top of the mashed potatoes, too.
That would be good. Nice. It could really go in any form of potatoes. Like, because, I mean, even like my plain mashed potatoes, I'm probably going to put cheese on them anyway. But...
I know this is totally not Thanksgiving, but wet burrito.
Yeah. And like I said, I didn't want to like... luckily, we've been thinking of Thanksgiving foods as we're doing this. But yeah, it would be a good wet burrito one.
Yeah.
That heat... So it's still building. But it's very like...
I would say it's like... For me, it's like a 2-. 1+, 2-.
I don't... I'm waiting. I'm waiting though because I know Reaper.
It's hanging on. It definitely. I think it has the longest duration.
Away. Yeah,
it's stuck around the most.
All right, and then with this sauce again, we talked about what was in it. It was a seasonal sauce that he had cranberry in there as a holiday focus. I have 2 fun facts for cranberry, so I want you to go first because I was worried that you might have the fact that I had. But then I guess then you ran into... We switched.
Yeah.
You were planning the current situation for Mammoth.
Yeah, so if Matt wins this, which I don't know how we're going to determine who wins, but he called an audible.
There's a lot of...
At the last minute, he said, hey, I know you've been practicing for a football game, but we're actually going to be playing baseball.
I texted you yesterday. I texted you that we were doing this, but I also texted in that same message that I was going back and forth between those two.
Yeah. So I never had a definitive answer. So
asterisk across this whole sauce.
It's got pomegranate.
It's building.
Is it? Mine's leveled out. Mine's a 2. Mine's a steady 2. It hasn't gone away at all.
I think mine's a low 3.
Yeah.
It does speak to when there's Reaper, habanero, Fresno. It does speak to how well it's balanced.
It sticks.
Where I'm not, but it's just right there. I'm afraid to drink water because I don't want to spread it.
Yeah. Get it in your eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's got pomegranate. Do you know where pomegranates are grown?
Not
where they originated, the Middle East.
Okay.
They're very arid, dry, loving plant. So in the Middle East, are you famous?
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
On a podcast.
We follow Sam Neill, so I'm pretty sure we're famous. Like, don't you mean he follows you? Like, no.
Do you know what the Fertile Crescent is?
No.
So it's the region in the Middle East where the Tigris and the Euphrates River come together. And if you look right there, if you look on a map, you'll see it. Okay. So that's kind of where modern civilization originated, was the Fertile Crescent.
Okay.
It was just like unnaturally fertile soils. It's where like farming, agriculture was invented. Some of the inventions that came out of the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East, which everyone thinks the Middle East is just very, very dry. This Fertile Crescent, believe it or not, is fertile, according to the name. Irrigation, writing, the wheel, and glass all originated from the Fertile Crescent.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Look on a map. You'll have to post a picture of it. I feel like not many people know about it, but it's like, it's the original spot of modern civilization.
That's pretty crazy that all of that. Yeah. That's a really good fact. I don't feel like my fact's going to win now.
That was a buzzer beater?
I could give you both facts, and I feel like they wouldn't. So here's the one that's just fun, that when you said that initially, I'm like, oh, well, I'm not going with this fact. Well, I'll save it for later. The fact that I had was only 5% of cranberries are sold fresh.
I can see that.
Initially, I was like, that can't be right. And then I'm like,
they're really bitter.
They said, if you wonder why, go ahead and bite a fresh cranberry.
I will say, my sister-in-law, favorite thing she ever does around the holidays, and I will threaten not to talk to her if she doesn't make them. I'm just like, that's how much I love these things. She'll take cranberries.
It's not a holiday themed episode if we don't talk about when we threaten to not talk to our family.
Yeah. I don't know what she actually does, but essentially she shows up with raw cranberries that have been tossed in crystal sugar.
Okay.
And that's it. And you just pop them like candy. And my gosh, your teeth feel like they're all attached to a 9-volt battery by the end of the night because it's so much sugar.
Yeah.
And it's so much acid. But, oh my gosh, is that good.
Huh.
Throw them in the freezer. They have a real crisp pop to them. Oh my gosh. I'm going to run over and tell her to make those right now.
That is interesting. My sister makes a really good cranberry sauce with like orange zest and orange juice in it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, sugar. Yeah, I'm down for that. The other fact I had was, which is just interesting, the best way to determine if a cranberry is ripe. Do you know how to do that?
If it floats?
No, see if it can bounce.
Really?
I found that in 2 different spots. So it's vetted. I like this sauce. It is a hot sauce. It is lingering. I put it as like a low 3 because it's just sticking around.
I've been eating it as you've been talking. It's a hot. It's pretty hot. You can hear my salivary glands kicking in.
Yeah. The I don't get a whole lot of the cranberry, but it is a sweet. It does have a nice sweetness to it. It is balanced well with the Reaper. It is one that like you said, cheesy dishes are gonna soak this up.
Yeah.
Literally or figuratively, depending on what it's made of.
No, that's like a half a bottle. Just
as a
glug, glug, glug.
As a separate thing, we talked about hot sauce on bagels with cream cheese. That'd be a good cream cheese bagel one. Get a bagel from Big B. Mm-hmm. Put that on there with like a turkey and cheese.
This is like a Thanksgiving morning after sauce. You
throw
take
it on your
all
leftovers.
the leftovers, pile it on there, and just
if you made the ultimate Thanksgiving leftover sandwich.
You know what? I just thought of something else. So you'd asked like that last question about the
Unorthodox.
What's the dish? Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom takes romaine lettuce, bed of that in
Yeah.
like a 9x13 glass dish.
Okay.
Then she takes a layer of mayonnaise, thick layer of Hellman's mayonnaise.
Mm.
And then she takes cauliflower, minced cauliflower, sprinkles it over that.
Okay.
Throws on white onion.
White.
Yep. Throws on sliced hard-boiled egg.
Okay.
And then sprinkles it with Parmesan cheese.
Yeah.
Dude, it is so good.
It's like a partial 7-layer salad, kind
Yes.
of. Yeah. Because you got mayo in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm down. Yeah.
you look at it and you're like, I guess. And then you eat it, you're like, oh man, that's good.
It's almost like a cross between like a broccoli, because I do a broccoli cauliflower salad. Almost like that, but also kind of a 7-layer salad. But you're like, why don't we take both?
Yeah.
So.
All right. What'd you have for a score?
So my score was a 74. So I think that it's one that it's, and again, I find it weird that I'm just been enjoying the Reaper sauces, which I did not think would be a thing in this episode. I thought this show would be, hey, I'm going to try the Reaper sauces. I'll fight through them. It'll hurt. But the fact that I'm enjoying these Reaper sauces the way that I am is really nice, because it opens up. I don't have to like give half of our stock to you automatically.
Yeah.
Gives you a little bit more, gives us a little bit more balance in sharing the stuff. But
Yeah.
although Hellhound and La Muerte 2.0, those were yours. Those were at a tier I couldn't.
Yeah. I'm chipping away at those. I put those on a hot dog last
This would be good on the Diablo Dare that Arby's came out with.
Yeah.
Because they do like a sweet ghost sauce.
Nice. I had a 72 for mine.
Okay. So the only one, the pumpkin was one that we were a little bit different on, but otherwise we're pretty much in line.
Yep.
That is, yeah, that's our Thanksgiving episode. My kids are...
The kids are excited about it.
The kids are excited. They can't wait for Thanksgiving in a few weeks.
Yeah.
We're actually getting ahead on this. But yeah, if you have any other recommendations on your favorite dishes or what you like to pair hot sauce or how you get heat into your dishes, definitely let us know. We'll ask a few questions through the holiday weekend, see what people say.
Send us pictures of the weird food traditions that you guys do.
Yeah, and then
I'd be real interested in
lastly, I challenge you, and I'm going to try to do the same. I'll be out of town, so it'll be interesting. Try to, even if you just take a picture of it, you don't have to video the whole thing, make your ultimate leftover Thanksgiving sandwich.
Can I go disassembled?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I normally do is I just make a mound of everything that's left over.
Yeah.
And just have at it.
Yeah. So we'll ask the question. We'll do the challenge. If not, we'll post all of our different.
You know, forget about your challenge. I'm going to do what I normally do.
Can I do that, but not?
Yeah.
Sure.
No, you know what? Just for you, I'm going to make a sandwich.
Yeah. But again, if you have any other questions, just send us a message on Instagram through our Gmail account, which is on our bio. Thank you again from Mammoth Sauce Company, Steve at Mammoth, Scott at Lucky Dog, and Brian at Craic Sauce. These are great sauces. I'm going to use them this holiday season.
That's got me pumped for Thanksgiving here.
Yeah, I'm going to bring a whole satchel of sauces across, or a bandolier across my chest. So Thank you again, and we will see you after the holidays. Everyone be safe and have a good, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Gobble, gobble.